Hi, everyone. I'm Keith Mathis with the Mathis Group. We're a premier ATP with the Project Management Institute. Welcome to 7 Minutes to PMP Mastery. Our video today is called The Mindset of Coaching and Mentoring. On the PMP exam, PMI has started emphasizing more so coaching and mentoring in some of the different aspects. So I want to talk about it a little bit so that you can see how it's positioned on your PMP test. So, a definition of mentoring and coaching. Mentoring as relevant stakeholders means that the project manager intentionally helps people connected to the project improve their understanding, their judgment, engagement, or ability to contribute to the project's success. On the PMP exam, stakeholders does not only mean sponsors or customers, it can include team members, product owners, functional managers, vendors, business users, executives, also subject matter experts, operational representatives, anyone who is connected to the project and has a vested interest in that project can be a stakeholder. Training is not mentoring. Mentoring is not the same as formal training. Training usually addresses a known skill gap through structured instruction. Mentoring is more situational, relational, developmental. It often happens when a stakeholder needs guidance or perspective, coaching, or support to better understand the project environment, project decisions, agile ways of working, governance expectations, or their role in a value delivery. Mentoring connects to others ECOs as well. And so exam content is very important, and that's what you should be studying. That's what these videos are all based on. So PMI tests mentoring because modern project managers are expected to lead through influence, collaboration, and servant leadership, not merely through authority. So this topic connects closely to several other ECO tasks in the people domain, including leading a team, supporting team performance, empowering stakeholders, ensuring adequate training, collaborating with stakeholders, building shared understanding, and promoting emotional intelligence. PMI's ECO emphasizes servant leadership, stakeholder influence, stakeholder collaboration, shared understanding, and stakeholder engagement as part of the project manager's people responsibilities. Mentoring is proactive, it's not accidental. So the project manager should not wait until a stakeholder's lack of understanding becomes a major issue. PMI expects the project manager to recognize early signals and to act. Examples of mentoring opportunities could include a stakeholder repeatedly ask basic questions about project decisions. A sponsor is not reinforcing project priorities. A product owner struggles to order the backlog by business value, or a team member is hesitant to speak in retrospectives, or a business user does not understand acceptance criteria, or a vendor does not understand the escalation path. A functional manager misunderstands agile team capacity. All of these could be some of the reasons why you would step in to mentor and coach someone. Mentoring requires time allocation. The ECO explicitly says to allocate the time to mentoring. That means mentoring should not be treated as extra work, only done when convenient. On the exam, the best answer may involve setting aside time for one-on-one guidance, workshops, coaching conversations, stakeholder briefings, or informal check-ins. Mentoring supports stakeholder engagement. So mentoring is often a way to improve stakeholder engagement. If a stakeholder is resistant, confused, passive, or misaligned, the project manager should usually seek to understand the cause and guide the stakeholder before escalating. And the purpose for that is to build that relationship between the two. Mentoring is different from directing. Mentoring is not commanding, blaming, taking control away from the stakeholder. PMI generally favors a collaborative, respectful, development-oriented action. So a strong mentoring response sounds like meeting with the stakeholders to understand the concern, provide guidance, coaching the product owner on value-based backlog prioritization, helping the sponsor understand the impact of delayed decisions, facilitating a conversation to clarify roles and expectations. Notice how inclusive every one of those sound. Mentoring is in a predictive environment. In a predictive project, mentoring may focus on role clarity, governance, documentation, change control, communication expectations, and approval responsibilities. An example of this could be a department manager keeps asking team members to add work outside the approved scope. The project manager should mentor the manager on the change control process, explain the impact of unauthorized work, and clarify how new requests should be submitted. In predictive projects, mentoring often supports change control discipline, requirements clarity, stakeholder approval processes, risk and issue escalation, communication protocols, governance expectations. It's going to support that type of structure. Mentoring in an agile environment, mentoring often looks much like coaching and servant leadership. The project manager, scrum master, agile lead, or servant leader helps stakeholders understand agile principles, product ownership, backlog refinement, iterative delivery, feedback loops, team, and self-organization. An example of this would be a product owner keeps changing sprint goals mid-sprint. And the best response is not to block the product owner aggressively. The better PMI style response is to coach the product owner on protecting sprint focus while using the product backlog to capture emerging needs. In agile projects, mentoring often supports servant leadership, product owner effectiveness, backlog prioritization, definition of done, iteration reviews, retrospectives, stakeholder feedback, and team empowerment. Mentoring in a hybrid situation, mentoring often involves helping stakeholders understand what part of the project follow predictive controls and which parts use adaptive practices. An example of this would be the hardware portion follows a predictive schedule while the software interface is developed iteratively. So a stakeholder complains that the software scope is not fully locked, and the project manager should mentor the stakeholder on why adaptive development is being used for uncertain work while also clarifying how integration milestones will be governed. In hybrid projects, mentoring will support things such as methodology clarity, governance alignment, managing different stakeholder expectations, integration between predictive and agile work streams, and value delivery across mixed delivery approaches. So the PMP exam, let's give you a PMP exam type question for something like this. So a hybrid project includes a predictive infrastructure work stream and an agile software work stream. The sponsor is comfortable with the infrastructure schedule, but is frustrated that the software team cannot provide a complete list of final features at the beginning of the project. During a steering committee meeting, the sponsor states that all software scope must be finalized immediately before additional funding is released. The product owner is concerned that this will reduce the team's ability to respond to user feedback and may lower the final product's value. What should the project manager do first? A, escalate the issue to the governance board because the sponsor is interfering with the agile delivery approach. B, meet with the sponsor and product owner to explain how the hybrid approach manages predictive milestones while allowing adaptive software scope refinement based on value and feedback. Next, ask the Agile team to create a complete feature list immediately so the sponsor will approve the next funding release. Or D, update the risk register to include sponsor resistance and continue with the current delivery approach until the next steering committee meeting. So look at that and pick out your answer. So what was the right answer? The right answer was actually B. The best answer was B because the issue is primarily a mentoring and stakeholder alignment problem. The sponsor does not appear malicious or impossible to work with. Sponsor misunderstands how adaptive software delivery operates within a hybrid project. The project manager should recognize this as a mentoring opportunity and allocate time to guide the sponsor and product owner towards shared understanding. This answer fits the PMI mindset because it addresses the issue directly, it mentors a relevant stakeholder, it builds shared understanding, it protects the value of the adaptive approach, it includes the product owner who owns product value and backlog decisions, and it avoids premature escalation. So let's look at the other answers and see about them. So what about A? Escalate the issue to the governance board because the sponsor is interfering with the agile delivery approach. This is too aggressive as the first action. PMI generally expects the project manager to communicate, understand, mentor, resolve issues at an appropriate level before escalating. Escalation may become necessary later on if the sponsor refuses to align after discussion or if funding decisions exceed the project manager's authority, but it's not the best first step. C, ask the Agile team to create a complete feature list immediately so the sponsor will approve the next funding release. This undermines the adaptive nature of the software workstream. It also allows stakeholder pressure to push the team into a less suitable delivery approach. In agile or hybrid environments, the project manager should not force premature scope certainty when learning and user feedback are expected. The better action is to mentor the sponsor on how scope refinement and value delivery work. And then D, update the risk register to include sponsor resistance and continue with the current delivery approach until the next steering committee meeting. Updating the risk register may be appropriate later, but it does not address the immediate stakeholder misunderstanding. Continuing without engaging the sponsor could worsen the situation and jeopardize funding. And PMI expects proactive stakeholder engagement and not some type of passive documentation for this. Now, let me thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been beneficial for you in preparing for the PMP test. We do PMP boot camps every other month, so just jump on our website and make contact with us. I'd love to have you in a boot camp, so I hope this has helped you greatly, okay? So you take care. I'll see you in another video. Bye now.